Let us continue playing No Heroes Allowed, and this is the first audio test of, well, first audio test I'm likely to upload of my new laptop, which has arrived, and huzzah. Doesn't mean it's a completely new save file, but ultimately I didn't manage a lot of success the first time round, so we'll hope to continue on the second. I'm going to take some comments on board from the last video that I'm going to try and explain what I'm actually doing and why. I kind of cover this in the first game, or rather the mid-game, because I haven't actually played the first one. But still, I'll try and go over some things as and when. The game is very high-paced, as you've noticed, and there's things I've got to do quite quickly, so if I do skip things, I apologise. Secondly, thanks for everybody who's submitted suggestions and various things. I'm going to put a link to the spreadsheet on hopefully all videos in future. I changed it on my defaults, though I do copy things over from video to video, so my series that are still ongoing may not include it, but feel free to add comments. The comment system works quite well. I can actually check them off as I go and add them onto the spreadsheet, so it's quite useful for me. So if you can put a comment there, I can eventually just go onto the spreadsheet. Oh, someone made a comment, make the change, done. And that comment goes away at least and gets filed away. So it's all useful for me. It's all useful. Also, I'm going to be recording my first game from that list. More info should be in this video, really. It's an update. But anyway, let's get on with the game to start with. So, on other updatey things, yes, I will be starting a couple of series soon. One is technically a continuation, because a expansion was released today, the 11th of October, and that's likely to influence somewhat what's going on. I'm also going to also try and use the D-pad rather than the analog controls here for this, because I feel that's going to be a better option for at least a bit more control. So, somebody asked about all these C and O patterns. Now, the reason you do C and O patterns is because it works quite well for where the slime molds will move around. They need to pick up nutrients, and the reason they need to pick up nutrients is because nutrients are ultimately what you need in this game, and I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm not digging out area. If you do Cs, they'll sort of go along these two channels, and they won't leave that area. Now, this is quite a nice section here. So, for example, we're doing that sort of C pattern now. All the monsters will move along these two lines, and they won't leave them. So it gives me a nice little secured area. And I think at this point I want to go and flood this area out. Oop. Well, I wanted to flood that area out and just get some water monsters started, which I also haven't explained particularly in this, but they haven't had a lot of work to do at this stage. I don't want to use up all the water because there's specific Runic monsters that can be spawned from this. So we'll do that. Now, slime molds will eventually die if they don't have enough nutrients in their area, which is why you need to make sure they have some. But when they die, they add nutrients to the soil they're in anyway. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep building up my army of these, and as you see, that is kind of helping me out a little bit. And in fact, that is death. I could pick up the gem, but obviously if I tap a monster, it dies, adds its nutrients to the soil. It does have a relevance, but right now, that's all we need. And again, similar to the last time, I want to save up for Lizard Man upgrades and then Lilith upgrades. Upgrading the Omnoms, probably not required just yet, so I'm happy to save and move on. We get an S rank for the first one, because I haven't really dug anywhere. Right, now because I don't want the water to get too far out of hand here, and I want that to be its own sort of area, I'm going to start digging along here. Now, I need to get some Lizard Men up at this point, really, so let's go and kill some more stuff off. Also, I'd love that to move. So I can provide a little bit of food for our people, and I'm also going to go and expand this out here. It's kind of a loop, so they'll still work and produce more minerals and things. And there we go, we got our gem. Now, the slime molds will eventually grow into plants, and these absorb nutrients from everywhere around them, will eventually die and produce a load of slime molds. So there is sort of ecologies within ecologies going on right now. And yeah, I've really not made a good enough effort here, have I? So I'm going to start that dig chain down here. The hope is I'm going to be able to get some lizard men soon, or the slime molds will evolve, but I think we got some problems developing now. Alright, let's put you down at the end here. Now, there's also mana blocks, but mana is a bit of a harder resource to gain in this game initially, because you unfortunately need to get them from heroes. As heroes kill things, as you want to say, renutrient a soil, but of course, this has other problems. It means they've killed all my monsters off for one. Multi-directional ninja stars! It's also advisable not to make new monsters during this time because fresh monsters are quite weakened, or have a weakened state. I would show this off, but it's a bit awkward. Also, we have a mandrake sapling, which is nice. So that's absorbing nutrients and eventually walk into its own thing. Dungeon IQ has increased, so that means we can now have Omnoms building walls. Also, we've had some mana blocks appear. I'm slightly concerned, I'll be honest. Okay, so that's his own area there. I might dig out of that and try something else with that in a little bit, but there we go. Right, now we need some monster upgrades, and we desperately need some lizardmen to appear. So we now have much powered up lizardmen, +7 attack, +6 defense, +4 magic defense. We want to concentrate on Liliths a little later because we will need some anti-magic here. We will be encountering heroes who are immune, or more immune rather, to physical attacks. We now have a few mana blocks, which is going to be helpful at least for this water bit initially, but it's not going to help me massively right now. Now, given this area is entirely destroyed, I'm going to completely put a long ring around the outside and see if I can't develop some of this. I really could do with some lizardmen, though, as I've mentioned. Yeah, and yeah, this is not going to go well. I think I might have another loss here. There's a lot of... Oh, darn it. Just saw it there briefly. Unfortunately, yeah, we go. Right, we have one lizard man. Unfortunately, there's no omnoms nearby, so I'm going to have to go and grab some. Because that lizard man will need some food. I should also start digging down a bit more. At this point, I'm just making long chains. I'm expecting to break them up, so this isn't part of my normal sea strategy. It's given us quite a bit of time for this one, which is nice of it. But after this one, we really need to hope they cast a lot of magic spells at the front, because that was our overall plan for last time, I think, which worked quite well. Okay, so we have a rune there. Now, if we can get water down to here, that will develop into a runic monster. And actually, that's a reasonable plan, so let's go and dig that channel out. So that will drag everything along there. We now have a new runic monster that has appeared, and that is the Sublimoid. And it's even got a reasonable amount of nutrients there. I should, though, try and restock that somewhat. And here we go. Oh, good thing to note, I've got a level 3 block up there. We'll put you along with the water, guys, and hope that the least distance will be helpful. Okay, another Lizard Knight, so I have 2. As you can see, we do have some mana blocks developing here. We have a Thunderhead, which is the first of the magic water things. Also, over here, we have some Lizardman blocks, and I've unfortunately built that at the wrong time because he's going to be quite weak, comparatively. He's still doing a lot of damage, and endured quite a fair amount, but he's not as strong as he should have been if we'd have left him. Let's also feed you that and see if we can't get a few more. Because they will multiply, of course. That's the other way they can do things. Oh, he's not here. Indeed, he's not. Darn you. Now, they will somewhat heal as well if they've got torches around them, but I can't actually do anything about the torches. This might help, though, because this is now a slowing effect. I've got Thunderheads also, who I have no idea how they attack. Unfortunately, they've just come in and sweeped everything, but this will eventually restock and they will automatically rebuild that water dungeon, which is somewhat helpful. One thing I see as a downside, though, is that I've actually built a direct tunnel down here, haven't I? There we go. So I'm going to knock that turtle. Yeah, you see, with these other turtle head things, I'm just going to knock a few of those out here just for extra protection, because we might urgently need some. Oh, and we got a Lizardman cult being built here, so they do have lair. Okay, so apparently I forgot to transfer my license over, which, you know, big deal, because that's 10 minutes, and I think those 10 minutes will have a watermark now. Still, back to the exciting dungeon action, which involves them just slaughtering all of my little slime molds because they are worthless. Ah, joy. Good news is, actually bad news, they haven't really given me a lot to work with here, have they? Let's go and rebuild some things up there. Oh, there we go. That's better. It's not ideal, but I can make some liliths out of this. Okay, so 2 more heroes are going to appear, and we want to upgrade the liliths. Unfortunately, I don't have the power to upgrade the liliths, so I'm going to have to hold off. Mental, manly, metal, madness! Now, interestingly, I didn't unlock the bonus one, which is probably a good thing, because honestly that would have destroyed us. Now, I'm hoping... Okay, 1 Lilith block. Now, the Liliths function much the same way as everything else. It's just now a case of multiplying these guys out. The Omnom is acting suspicious. I wonder if that's because he's being slaughtered to death or whether he's starving. But he is very close to death at this stage. It might be because they're being eaten, because there's actually not a lot of Omnoms down here anymore. They will develop defensive skills if they get eaten too much, which, you know, I can live with. I can definitely live with that. Meanwhile, now that that's happened, let's go and... Ooh! We have a chest. Chests can be interesting, especially on the lower levels, which we kind of are at the bottom of the dungeon now. So I'll have to hope we can make something with that. Meantime, I'm heading back up. Omnoms are still close to death. I reckon it is because they're being eaten, so I'm going to try and fix that. Meanwhile... the downside of having lots of liliths down here rather than closer to the surface is they are going to be absorbed into my skeleton. And I've actually gone up into a... What are you? Into a spirit. Nope. Didn't want to see what the spirit was. Oh, also, we have mana mushrooms that have now appeared. Okay, well, let's go and put you up here. It's kind of desperation territory, but it's far enough back that we might be able to get some rebuild. Okay, and there's a few pure ones as well, I've noticed. Pure ones basically do not eat. I've got to find out whether it's just attacks, but I reckon it is. Yeah, we really have no defenses up right now, do we? And base liliths are not the best of things to try and deal with this with. Yeah, I think we lost this. I don't have magical attackers. And with unupgraded liliths, it's unlikely I'm going to be able to do anywhere near enough damage. So, let's go for Desperation Chest. The Mimic has appeared. Few extra liliths. Liliths do have long range attacks, so it's not as if it wouldn't. What the heck is. Oh, that was Lizardmen Barrage. Okay, apparently mass Lizardmen are enough. And again, as mentioned, it will kind of restock itself for the water dungeon, so they can kind of be left. Technically speaking, you can do this with the normal dungeon as well, but it's a bit harder because you have to knock mana blocks out. Oh, I picked up another Lizardman. And I've picked up a relic. We're going to activate this one because I can't really do a lot with, and that is a Channel Lilith. Channel Lilith does not appear to be ridiculously strong, but hey, it took some hit points off. Oh god, these Lizardmen are actually winning the battle for me right now. Oh, please don't be the extra heroes. I could really afford not to have those right now. Right. Now, it's tempting to upgrade Lizard Knights again. it's definitely tempting, but I'm going to upgrade the Liliths instead because we need stronger magical attacks at this point. This also allows me to upgrade something else here if I wanted to, but I'm going to leave off for now. Yeah, Liliths are it. So we have level 2 Liliths now available. Keep it down there. We didn't unlock the extra enemies. And these are the 3 that killed us last time. So, Operation as many Liliths as I can grab. Now, of course, new Liliths will create vampires rather than Liliths themselves if they respawn, so that's all good. I've accidentally notched the territory down a little bit, but that's fine. Right, let's hope. Oh, God. Okay, we'll activate you, because otherwise you're going to absorb all of it for us, which, you know, we don't want. A couple of Liliths. Oop. There was one here briefly. The good news is the slime mods will take away nutrients from a block. The spirits will take away the mana from a block. And eventually there is a bit of swapping that goes between the two. And these are special blocks, but unfortunately that's already got minerals. It's a bit of a mess up here, it has to be said. Lizard Knight is acting... Oh, Lizard Knight evolution. I wonder if that's because they're starving. Where are the Lizard Knights here? They might have actually been fighting to death, actually, and getting ability here. Dungeon IQ is increased. And we have we have cannibal Lizard Knights now. Right, so they've clearly not had enough food and had to eat now eat each other to survive. Downside is I could do with a few more, but you know. Dungeon IQ is increased again. That means I'm going to have blockades and things starting up. Heroes are approaching. Need some more vampires out there. See, we got some evolutions this time. Evolution's massively helpful because that's now level 3 and I have plenty of Liliths. I have a lot of firepower coming out of this dungeon now. Unfortunately, it might still be too low level. If I had a few more lizardmen, the cannibal lizardmen, I mean, I'd be quite happy. I've got to stick with that spot because I don't have anything else. Lots of long-range attacks. That's about 10 each from those. Oh, and there's our lizardman block. He's not actually a cannibal yet. He hasn't eaten anything. But he will eventually. We hope. There's another one up there. I'm hoping that I can find some food for him, actually. Or he just ends up calling. They get stronger if they cannibalize. It's just nature of it. You eat, you are better. Unfortunately, that guy did not even get to fight. I'm producing things in the vain hope of getting something here. Now that has been cannibalized here. This guy should be quite strong. Not quite enough, and he's just healed himself. This is the thing. Now they have healing abilities. We need a lot of power for this. Also, that is a turtle shell, which we can actually crush for extra nutrients if we wanted to. And we have our Runic block. This is our desperation ploy if all else fails here. We need to add mana to this. Not summon 2 of them at once. That's a silly idea, and whoever did that was an idiot. But if we can power this rune up a little bit, I might be able to pull off something that can fight back. Meanwhile, let's go for another mighty lizard man, who very nearly did enough. See, these guys are weak to physical attacks, or at least that guy is in particular. But the Liliths aren't going to be able to do as much to him. Enough, though. 1 down. The downside I've got is that I think he's just slaughtered the entire dungeon up to this point. He has. They do have the individual search patterns, but I've got nothing on the defensive side anymore. So what's my desperation ploy? hope I have enough enemies over here that they'll do some magical abilities and power this thing up. Secondly, just go with that now. It's a Wookiee man, but it's not enough. Yeah, Desperation lifts are not going to matter at this point, so that is a loss. We got the level 3 lizardmen, but unfortunately we had too few of them to make the difference. But anyway, we will definitely be trying this again, because clearly this game has now challenged me now. I'll see you next week for another update video, I imagine. If you, as I say, if you have any videos you want me to play, if you want any suggestions for live streams. Oh, quick final bit of the update video before I end the video for this week. The next couple of live streams are set up. I'm going to be doing the XCOM 94 Hawaii challenge, because it wasn't going to be, but now it is. Just that's where I was chosen to start, Hawaii. It's in the middle of nowhere, but clearly it is where XCOM will make its stand. And the other live stream the week after that will be Jackbox Party Pack 3, which will be out by that stage, so join me for the shenanigans there. Until next time.